Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our March meeting. My name is Mike Henkel, and I am one of the co-chairs. And if we just want to do a quick intro for Apong and for Dory, and if we haven't introduced ourselves yet, please let's just do around the room. So I will call it out, and you can pass it along. So
Did you say my name because you had frozen and I couldn't hear you?
oh no, I said Jeffrey,
Okay.
and if somebody else trying to log in, so I'm going to kind of back
Got
out.
it.
Yeah, I am Jeffrey Pulis, and my area of interest has to do with the collective trauma that we are all going through, both about the climate and everything else. And I will pass it to Paula, since
Sure. So Paula Day, and I am a chapter member, and I handle the newsletter. And I also serve on the city's environmental commission, and so that is why I asked Opong from OEQS to join us tonight for the CECAP update. So I'll pass it to Chip.
Thanks, Paula. I'm humbled and honored to follow you.
Oh. It's the other way around.
And thank you guys for joining us tonight, Dory and Opong. I'm an executive committee member of the group, and I have a long-standing activist and academic interest in this area because I've been teaching the subject, and it's in a relationship to human rights, advocacy, and law, especially international, but also like U.S. domestic environmental law. And I'll pass it on to Jayashri.
Thanks, Pit. My name is Jayashri Prasad Sinha, and I'm associated with this chapter ever since it started in 2017. I was trained in 2017, and I used to be treasurer for this chapter, but currently I am co-chair and also handling the treasurer stuff. Thank you, and I'll pass it on to, who do I see? Jan.
Hey y'all, sorry I don't have my camera right now, but I'm the events chairperson, and I've been in the group since I guess 2018, and I work in the solar industry now, and I'm super happy to hear that we're going to talk about our collective trauma, because that's really weighing on my mind this week. Appreciate seeing everybody here tonight. And I don't know who to pass it to. Who hasn't talked?
Lisa, maybe?
Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Lisa is just trying to get the link up too. So.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Chen. And this is my first meeting with everyone. So just want to say hi.
Lisa, may I ask who you're with? Because you look familiar. I don't know if we've met before, but are you an academic, or what is your an organizational connection? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I used to work at a dental school. I'm an oral pathologist, which study diseases occur in the mouth. It has nothing to do with the environmental science at all. I'm not sure where you saw me.
Maybe the Center for Brain Health? Are you active with them?
I have an idea about that. I kind of introduced Lisa last month because Lisa has stepped forward to be our secretary. So you might know the name. I don't know if you recognize her face, but definitely I've mentioned Lisa. So welcome to Lisa.
That's it. And thanks, Lisa. Thank you for doing that. It's very generous.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I just want to do something about this, even though this is really far away from my specialty at all. I'm learning from zero. I thought that maybe taking this position to do something will help me to learn. So that's the whole purpose.
And that's what we're about in large part. So that's great.
Thanks, Lisa. So great that you can do this.
Thank you. We just learned on the news, 2024 is the hottest year ever recorded in the history. So I do think we needed to do something.
No kidding.
Yeah, Sheree, do you see my message there?
Oh, the
You have
agenda. Yeah.
agenda up. And yeah, and you're muted also. Usually we start with remarks from the chair, and I usually keep mine very short, or the co-chairs. And so I was going to say that, we all know how important this climate moment is. And I appreciate our guest speakers for being here. I wish we had a greater membership coming in to our meetings, but we are working on that. And I can assure you that, as I mentioned earlier, the purpose of these recordings is to keep getting that word out, that people will be seeing this. So thank you for being here. And we are going to tackle 2025 as best we can. Going into Earth Day, there's a lot of excitement in the city. And, I'm excited to hear from Dory and Opung from the city of Dallas to learn what's going on there. And that's the kind of news, the positive stuff that's happening that we can share out to our membership. So thank you for being.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Do we want to do the land acknowledgement?
Yes. I think I don't know. Since the agenda wasn't up, I was just doing the remark from the co-chair. And I'm sorry, did we also get through all the intros? Okay, I thought so. And Jayashri, do you want to say anything to start?
You're muted, Jayashri.
Mike, I was out. I just came in and logged in, so I'm a bit confused. Sorry. I'm looking for the
Okay.
agenda. So you
Okay.
guys carry on while I look. And
Sounds good. If there's no objections, then I'll go ahead with the community ground rules and the land acknowledgement. So community ground rules, make space or take space. Please limit our time to 2 minutes when possible. Not our guest speakers, obviously. Speak from the I perspective instead of generalizing. Practice active listening. Assume good intentions. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Intent does not negate impact. We can disagree without discord. Personal attacks and labeling have no place in our chapter, and we can accept that there is no quick fix. Our Indigenous land acknowledgement. We are standing and living on lands stolen from the Kickapoo, Wichita, Tawakoni, Yumanos, and Comanche people in the general greater DFW areas. These people have been harmed yet continue to thrive in the process of colonization and white supremacy. I encourage all of us to go to native-land.ca and educate ourselves in these Native communities. And with that, I believe we can jump straight to our first speaker, the city of Dallas, Opung Hemeng. And Paula, I believe you're doing an introduction. Did you want to do it?
All right. So I have been, continually impressed with every presentation from the Office of Environmental Quality and Sustainability. The staff works super hard and they're behind the scenes and they don't get proper recognition. So I first want to recognize Opung and his team for all the work they do. And we as commissioners get periodic updates on progress for CECAP. I think, Opung will take us through this, but, it's important to know that OEQS is really kind of overseeing a plan that is spread out among multiple city departments. So it's not an OEQS plan, it's a City of Dallas plan. And, that's really critical to the success of the objectives. So, it's an ambitious plan, but I think we get like maybe 6-month updates every 6 months. I'm always, really inspired by the amount of progress I see. So I just wanted to give Opung the chance to kind of take this group through it. And, we'll send out the recording link and I'll do a summary in the newsletter. So even if there aren't huge numbers on tonight, we'll make sure that our chapter members get the word. So Opong, over to you.
Yes, thank you all for having me here today. Just background, Opong Hemming, the Senior Climate Coordinator with the City of Dallas. So I oversee the implementation of our CECAP, our Comprehensive Environmental and Climate Action Plan. And we're entering our 6th year of the plan. There's been a lot of good progress that's been done from the beginning and also through the last year that I've been with the city leading this plan. The presentation that Commissioner Day that Paul is referencing, it's a very long-standing presentation, about 50 slides. I just condensed some of the information for you all today. I'll be able to share our annual report with you all for reference after this meeting, and also the slides that I've shared in the commissioner meeting and the ones I'm sharing today for you all to look through and to have the conversation, the information to keep the momentum going forward. But just to start, I'll share my screen.
While you're doing that, Rose, do you want to take a quick second to introduce yourself?
Hi, Rose Jones. I am happy to be here. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about heat. I did a presentation. I just recently joined in, I think, December. I spoke to the group. Alex and I did a shared talk about House Bill 2127, heat and workers. So happy to be here. I had a problem with the Zoom link, but Alex and Beth were on top of it. So sorry to be late.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And I just recopied the agenda. I think you came in right after we put it up, so you have access to that.
Apologies for that interruption, Opong.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. So let me share my screen. Can you all see that?
Not yet.
Oh, it would help if I click share. There we go.
Now we got it.
Okay. You can see the presentation, not my messy desktop.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So just background about been with the city for about a year, serving in this role. So I lead a team of 8 that work directly in actions related to the CECAP. I am the climatologist for the city. My background has been in ESG for the past 15 years, public and private sector. And I'm also an economist. So I come at a lot of issues from the environmental, climate aspects, what's happening, why is it happening, and then what are the financial ramifications of how do we mitigate and adapt from a business, organization, community, society standpoint. So just background on like how we got to where we are in terms of the city and how we're addressing climate action and sustainability overall. There's just been long-standing approaches of mitigation and adaptation and environmental quality for very concrete foundational issues in terms of sustainability. So when it comes to energy efficiency, disaster, flood, infrastructure, and then the environmental quality piece of forest management, water conservation, water quality, local food. I always say sustainability, it can mean everything to anyone at any given time, and that's definitely the case as we try to address it for the city. But where we are trying to capture, and I say we as a city, we're trying to capture that nexus point in the middle that's labeled environmental justice of what's the challenge, and what are we doing to make the situation better for our residents. Our focus are the residents of Dallas, the city operations, and what are we providing for the community. So on top of everything that's happening across every different sector, our CECAP is addressing the nexus point of what's in the middle for us to achieve justice in an equitable way for all involved. So just wanted to go through the 8 target areas, the 8 main goals of our CECAP. And I want to start off with the first one. Goal 1 is focus on the built environment. So Dallas buildings are energy efficient and climate resilient. This is traditionally, it's been focused on our city operations, so city owned and operated buildings, city hall, recreation centers, libraries. How are they being operated? How efficient are they, old and new? And how can we upgrade those facilities to be energy efficient and climate resilient? One major success we've had in this past year is we have passed the 2024 bond resolution that includes CECAP as a mandate. So now there will be a sustainability baseline for all projects that are city funded, they must adhere to a sustainability baseline, which is outlined in the CECAP, for the building to be resilient and energy efficient. In order to receive those funds, you must meet that metric. One of the big projects that we're working on, or say the first one, is the convention center renovations. We were active in those conversations with the designers and the planners to make sure it's going to be long-standing. It meets the needs, but it also helps us reach our carbon neutrality goal of 2050. Also incorporated in this goal is a residential focus, providing resources for residents to weatherize their homes. Again, some of the old longstanding homes or some of the newly renovated ones, for them to be climate resilient, as we are all experiencing extreme heat and extreme cold. What does that do to the infrastructure of the home? Making sure individuals are prepared for that and providing resources for them to do so. So we have internal and state and federal funding to help us with our Whole Home Dallas, to provide more opportunities for residents to do so. Moving over to goal 2, energy. Energy needs to be affordable, reliable, equitable, with an emphasis on renewable. About 7% of the energy portfolio of the city does come from fossil fuels. And our goal and what we're working towards is creating more opportunities for renewable energy additions into our portfolio. The main focus has been solar from a city side and what we've been promoting to residents. And my colleague will talk about that later on, but also partnering and promoting other opportunities for renewable energy, geothermal, hydrogen, and then also wind. How do we get those to power our facilities, making sure through our existing contracts we have a renewable energy component that we can track and verify that our energy is coming from less of a fossil fuel demand, more of a renewable energy demand as a city, for us to meet our efficiency goals. Third one is transportation. This is a big one. The fun fact for our transportation within the city, 78% of all commutes are done by a single occupancy vehicle. And it's kind of interesting, that number has gone up since pre-COVID. Before it was 70, it's 78 now, and it was 76. So what happened? What are we doing? And how can we provide other means of transportation of not just people, but also goods across the Metroplex and within the city proper? So we've been partnering with, our main focus this year has been with Parks and Recreation as they redo their micromobility plan, their transportation plan of trails for walking, biking, and then also planning and development. As we all know, so sprawl coming up, making sure we're able to connect neighborhoods and communities with different retail opportunities adjacent to them, and other services, city services, libraries, parks, recreation centers are able to be connected in different means of transportation. We also just completed our EV siting study. So we're able to map out the city of Dallas, the demands and the needs of electric vehicle charging, both public and private in the city. Where is it present, and where could we install charging infrastructure in the city? Public lands, private lands, how do we do so? How do we make it equitable? And where on city properties, again, those standards, recreation centers, libraries, could the city introduce electric vehicle infrastructure to meet the growing demand for that type of transportation? Orangewood goal 4 is zero waste. That's your traditional reduce, reuse, and recycle. We are, as a department, as a city, understanding from a waste component, the emphasis, I would say, for the past year has not been how do we reduce, reuse, recycle, but it's how do we maintain the demand the waste infrastructure is seeing due to the growth within the city of Dallas proper. A lot of development causes for a lot of tear down, a lot of construction, and that produces a lot of industrial waste. So we're seeing an increase there. How do we make sure that we're able to handle it from the city side? But then also, again, when there is new construction, making sure that there's an opportunity to recycle and repurpose industrial waste at a large scale. So we're talking about large scale concrete, timber, metals, and plastics. From a residential side, we're going to be launching very soon our reinvestment into our carbon composting program. That was something that was started, again, pre-COVID. The pandemic definitely impacted that. Funding sources have also impacted our organic waste collection, but that's something that's really big for us that we want to focus on. And we're going to be able to do so starting off once that team is up to speed later this year. Is there a question?
I was clapping.
Oh, okay. Awesome. And yes, also feel free. I'm trying to stay true to my time, but feel free to interrupt if you have any questions. The last four goals are listed here. So starting off from left to right with water. Water is a big one for us. We talk about the water quality is big, but another, I guess, fun fact is the Dallas water system produces and supplies water for the adjacent municipalities, Plano, Irving, Mesquite, parts of Arlington, Duncanville. So the water quality and the water availability for Dallas really represents the needs and the demands for the entire region. Impacts of that from a weather standpoint, flooding and drought. Long time Dallas, North Texas resident. Our summers are classically classified or are classified as a drought. It will rain May 15th and we won't get rain again outside of an extreme storm until about September 1st. So how do we address that, knowing that's going to be an issue? And then when it does rain, it pours. So from a stormwater infrastructure standpoint, making sure we're able to take on thousands of gallons, 10,000s of gallons of water at any given moment, at any given day, that doesn't essentially break the system. So we're working closely to monitor the water that's available for consumption, and then also how we treat stormwater coming into the system. Ecosystems is a really big one. One of our, I would say, the new feather in our cap is focusing on our tree canopy. So we recently just completed our urban heat island study, which is going to be subject to public release on April 3rd. But we were able to map the ambient air temperature across the entire city of Dallas. It was a 2-year project. We did it in phases. But that at that point, we were going to be able to tell how hot is it, traditionally how hot is it, ground-wise and atmospheric-wise within the city. And that data and information, which is new for the city, is going to help us create our heat advisory plan of policy. So we've been working, and even though it's not publicly released, we've been meeting with fire and rescue, emergency management, and also the Office of Homeless Solutions to have a provisional plan in place by this summer, knowing that extreme heat temperatures are going to be uncharacteristic for the spring. We know that, and we expect that coming forward. Rose and I can talk about that all evening, but for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going. Goal 7 is local food. The city of Dallas, this is a unique one for our climate action plan. The city of Dallas, about 30% of all residents are in a food desert, and it's been that way for about 30 years. Long-standing challenge for the city. How do we address it? Well, we have a focus of urban agriculture, expanding and branching that out, having an opportunity for us to provide opportunities for crops, agriculture to be grown within the city to address a lot of challenges, but mainly the access to locally grown and nourishable food, healthy food. So we have an urban agriculture team that last year launched the urban agriculture plan that has a 10-year trajectory of how we are able to go through to support existing growers, providing education to residents on how to grow, and then also having opportunities for us to grow more agricultural products on state and locally city-owned land. And then the last one is Dallas Breeds Clean Air quality. We all just lived through the dust storm, I would say, that happened last week, and another one is coming. If you haven't read your weather radar, but air quality has been a challenge, has been an issue in the city of Dallas, in North Texas overall. That's one thing we don't have control over. The air, the pollutants in the air can come from across the globe, across the country, but it stays and it sits here due to the low pressure system that that North Texas creates. So in order for us to have more accurate data, we have our DCAMP program, so Dallas Area Community Air Monitoring Program. There's 24 sensors across the city, one in every district, where in real time you can go and see the air quality within your neighborhood for you to plan accordingly, whether it be high of certain pollutants, whether it be low due to certain environmental factors. And that helps us send out alerts for high pollutants due to any given factors. It can be a dust storm like we just experienced, a 3-alarm fire down the road, and then also for the World Cup as well. It's kind of a requirement FIFA's looking for to know the air quality of the 3 million intended fans that we expect to see in this area. So overall, CECAP, it's 97 actions. Our goal, the plan is really comprehensive, where it's not aspirational as you see in other plans of what something we would like to do, or we're waiting on future technologies to address this issue. Each one of these actions can be its own strategy with dedicated staff to address it. And this is the breakdown across the 8 goals. The primary benefits, as well as what I mentioned before, of what's the traditional roots of it: mitigation, adaptation, environmental justice, and environmental quality. And then we also went through and list out the co-benefits of some of the actions as well. What is it truly driving? Is it emissions? Is it residential base? Is it to reduce vulnerability, producing air quality, cost savings? So there is, whatever approach that you're taking at it, the actions are labeled in a way that you can understand it based on where you're coming from. So this slide, I just wanted to mention, we're constantly evaluating our plan. We're constantly evaluating our programs and our projects. And the main way that we do that is through our greenhouse gas inventory. We do one every 5 years. So some of the actions have a greenhouse gas metric to it for us to track how well are we doing in terms of reducing emissions, either produced or consumed within the city. We're currently doing our inventory this year, which will be scheduled to release later this fall. That will help us determine, are we moving closer to our neutrality goals for 2040 and 2050. So just one last plug at the end of my presentation. Every year we host a climate symposium. We do have one on Wednesday, April 23rd. We're partnering with EarthX this year, but the focus for this event will be the climate and public health. So how does the environment impact public health from an individual, but also from a regional city standpoint? So we're going to have talks about air quality, how it affects heat, which Rose will be speaking on. We'll have academics from various universities talking about how it's researched locally and globally. We'll have medical professionals talking about the strain or the impact the environment has on cases that they're seeing in our local hospitals. It's a free event, so I encourage you all to come participate for a session that you may be interested in, or the entire day, and also for you all to share with your networks. This is a community symposium where we're getting together in a room, talking about the challenges and how we can truly address them and put them into action. So if you want to learn more, Dallas Climate Action, that's our dashboard. It has a lot of the metrics that I mentioned, a lot more of the information and details of where we are, progress with some of our plans. You can feel free to email our department or email me directly. Happy to continue the conversation, answer any questions, take feedback as well. You all are the community that we're serving, so wanted to hear what you all think, what could be done, any suggestions. Happy to take those and facilitate any conversation and action that needs to be done on your behalf. And that concludes my time. I'm going to stop sharing. Yes. And I'm here for any questions that you all may have.
I have a question.
Sure, Rose.
So, first of all, that was a great overview. Thank you so much. It was really succinct, and I thought really relevant to the issues that we address, and it was laid out nicely. Here's one question: what do you anticipate having any type of impact from all the federal mess that we're seeing with reductions? And how does the city of Dallas, for specifically sustainability and climate action plan, do you anticipate having any kind of challenges, reductions, that type of thing?
That's a really good question. I would say a majority of our programs are federally funded through one way or another, whether it goes through the state or through a different partner or academic institution we partner with. It's early days for us to determine how we're going to be impacted in the future. I would say as of today, in this fiscal year, none of our programs we had to slow down or stop. And none of the grant opportunities that we have forecasted out through the end of this fiscal year have been taken down or paused at the moment. So we're still in good shape, but we do know potential changes will come on the horizon, and we're planning for those now.
Okay, thank you.
Can I build on that question from Rose?
Absolutely.
I mean, to what extent do we have, as I have friends at some of the agencies that were trying to get the monies out to cities. And, as you know, there's been even litigation efforts that are quite in strong dispute right now with attorneys, for the agencies either resigning or being fired, but being told to freeze funds from the Bipartisan Investment Act, the IRA, the CHIPS Act, et cetera, all of which bear on these things. I think people don't realize how much those funds are at risk. So to what extent do we already have secure hold on the funds that we need? To what time period to fund the CCAP? And to what extent, when does it become really vulnerable and the funds just aren't there and we really don't know whether they'll be withdrawn or deployed for other purposes?
Really good question. So our fiscal year ends at the end of September. So we start our new year in October. I can say for a lot of our programs that I've mentioned are safe. There we have funding. So the grants that we usually apply to are multi-year, and we're like either at the beginning, just starting, or halfway through. Multi-year being 2 to 3 years. So we're good on that end. I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question? Oh, it's like forecasting out for the future.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting one. There's so many actions and so many plans that we can take in the CCAP. One of the biggest factors is capacity, and then funding permitted. So we have to just plan accordingly. Where our focus we send out a implementation plan every year of what our focus is going to be for the upcoming fiscal year. And by that time we create that plan and we start talking, we will know what our funds will be. So there wouldn't be any surprises. So if we need to make a shift for 25 or 26, we'll know well in advance, and we would have to, I won't say not scale, but pivot, because some may not need federal funding. Some may need a focus of capacity, and we can address those that way.
So if I can just add a little short follow-up on that, if, despite the state we're in and the partisan pressure and all the misinformation and disinformation about whether climate change is real, human caused, and whether action's about, we have not yet begun, as some organizations, companies, and even municipalities and agencies have done, we haven't begun, and we don't see any anticipated scrubbing of our websites to remove the word climate or anything like that. You don't really think that's likely to happen, despite the, the sort of shift away from climate action that we have seen, in the last few months with, fossil fuel energy companies spreading their sharp elbows a bit.
Yeah, I think the language one is something that we're currently talking about within the city. We get a lot of our directive from the EPA, but then also some of the national associations. So the National Science Foundation is the biggest one. They lead the grant funding, I guess, framework for us. So words that could be flagged or triggered that we need to make alternatives for is something that we have done for different aspects, and we're prepared to do so. I can say that a lot of the public facing plans, like within CECAP, we will not have to take climate action out of that plan, or some of the things that are currently in existence. We will not have to change for new programs in the future, potentially, but we're just waiting to get more information and more directive from local, state, and federal officials on that.
No sense that jobs are at risk at this point at the city level?
In our department that's focused on this plan, no.
Okay, that's great. That's a pretty optimistic picture, and I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, I will say I have the conversation of, is climate change real, multiple times a week with very, very varying stakeholders. And I think that's not I would say, for speaking for the city and who we communicate with, that's not the question anymore. It's the funding, and do we have the capacity to make a change? That's what we have to push, and funding and capacity are definitely the two challenges that we need to address to do that. So it's a different conversation I'm having internally, which I've used to have in the past, I would say 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
And it's great that you're focusing on public health in your upcoming event.
I'm so excited.
So can I just add that in terms of the budget and funding, the budget season will be coming up, and we always encourage City of Dallas residents to contact their council member and advocate for additional budget to fund OEQS and CCAP. And then we watch what happens at City Council and we see where funds go. But it's just like all of the issues that we just need to make our voices heard, so that even if it doesn't go our way, we're on record as having good residential support for funding of these issues. So I'll be sure to put that in the newsletter.
Thank you, Paul.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, Opung, are there, in terms of air quality, we've had presentations from a group called GAF's Gotta Go. So the shingles manufacturer down, I think I'm not sure exactly where it is, on the
Yes.
west
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with that? And is there any progress with protecting people's health from that situation? And then are there any other things? So looking at short and long term, are there possibilities of mitigating that in some fashion?
Very good questions. I'll start with the first one. Air quality and how it impacts different neighborhoods that, if I want to rephrase it, adjacent to industry. It's one of the things where we all know the air quality could be better, but now we're collecting the data at the micro level for us to make those changes, for us to have those conversations. I think that's the biggest component that we're working on. And the more I say, like, this publicly accessible site, our dashboard has been great to be a component of planning and zoning conversations, new ordinances, new policies within the city, and then also being used for data in Austin for state legislation as well. So it's helping in a lot of different avenues. Right now, the data collection part is the most important for us to have the information to make the case. But I would say for Dallas, that was just the for Dallas 2.8 that was just released. That was a big component. How close industry is close to new residential areas, and then what types of industry will have the opportunity to be placed where. What was your second question?
I think you covered. Is there any other similar examples that would be included in that? But I think your data capture sounds like.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest parts I want to make sure I'm sharing with everyone is so I'll use Urban King Island for an example. We all know it's hot in Dallas, but now we know how hot it is and how hot that the built environment contributes to heat. So now we're able to make a comprehensive plan to address. So that's where we are as a city, and I think that's what the CECAP is doing, is creating the framework to do the experiment, to collect the data, to have the research that will then influence policy. So long-term plan, but that's where we are. And I would say our phase one is just collecting the proper data, doing the proper science to then have the conversation.
That's, I guess, my last one. And so with all the fires and floods, not just in this country, but worldwide, but if we were to focus on DFW, what is City of Dallas, like, is that within your scope of CECAP in terms of, hey, do we need to do additional planning for any potential fire hazard or flood mitigation? Is there anything specific you could share with us on that?
We work with the COGS of the North Texas Chamber of Governments in terms of a regional mitigation plan, where we sit for like just North Texas. You all may be aware, but we're in the perfect zone at the bottom tip of Tornado Alley, and we have low pressure coming from the Gulf, where a lot of extreme weather happens here. El Nino's big, tornadoes, extreme weather storms. But what's going to happen is those are going to intensify in both scale and essentially weight. This is my climate hat coming on. Essentially weight. So when we talk about flooding, it will flood. It does that 100-year flood that we always talk about. It may happen every 3 years. So we know that, we're prepared for that, or we know that, and we're working to be prepared for that in terms of the infrastructure response. There's nothing that we can do to address how it's impacting us from a global perspective. It's just how do we respond and being proactive to it rather than reactive. The extreme snowstorm that we had a few years ago that we thought would never happen happened. So now we have a extreme freeze policy in place to address it. So things like that, well, that we're working on. I would say the climate office for the city of Dallas, it's a team of one, so it's myself. But rely heavily on a lot of the research that's being done at the federal level that we are able to just institute, copy and paste, and provide in the city.
I have a question. Opong, could you talk a little more about the EV infrastructure plans and progress?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just finished the feasibility study of understanding how many electric vehicles are currently within the city, what types they are, and then to forecast out the next 10, 20 years, and just to see how much EV infrastructure will be needed in terms of charging in the city to do so. And then getting that number, finding out that delta, and then spreading charging equitably across the city. What could that look like? So we've done that. We have, it's also on DallasClimateAction.com. We have the spreadsheet of those numbers, where they could potentially go. The next step is funding, and we're doing it in phases. So internally, we're transitioning our fleet, the city fleet. A lot of the vehicles you see on the road will be transitioned to EVs over the next 10 years. But then also from a public, so that's our main focus, is just city operated and controlled. But then also from a public standpoint, what does new infrastructure look like? So from an economic development standpoint, we've been in talks with a lot of the major car manufacturers. There's a lot of different startups that solely do EV, let's say gas stations, but EV charging station that look like gas stations, for lack of a better word, that are coming to the city. There's a few that are already piloting in the city. So we're encouraging that type of work to be done to address EVs within the city, and then also the transportation hub. I think nationally, the hydrogen corridor will go through Dallas. I think hope that's well known. It's been published, but I-20 will be a hydrogen corridor where you can charge a hydrogen vehicle from coast to coast. We're getting 2 stations. One is in the testing phase right now. So there's just another opportunity for different EV alternative transportation opportunities within the city.
Are there any target dates for the hydrogen deployment?
Those are federally funded. So they're in the testing phase now. I would say that. I think it's 2026. But we will have to wait and see.
Okay. And I'm Bob Krangle. I'm sorry I joined late. This is the first meeting that I've joined. Usually Wednesday nights are pretty tough for me. But glad to meet everybody.
Thank you for joining us, Bob.
Sure.
Jayashree, I think if that's okay with everybody, we'll let Jayashree go with the last questions.
Yeah, I was asking if you have time, can I ask one quick question? So this has to do with the sensors. I know, how do you calculate? I don't know. I'm ignorant, that's why I'm asking you. How do you gather the pollution data? Is it the function of a city, per city, or is it the state's function? And are there sensors located? Where are they located? How do you decide where a sensor should go to collect most effective data collection?
Great questions. So just to rapid fire them, the data that the DCAMP program does the citywide function. So they're non-regulatory air monitors. So that's not, so that means is like we're not collecting them for data or for science or for research. They don't go what you see on the news. TCEQ, the state level, EPA, they do air monitoring. There's
Okay.
about 3 of them within the city. And those are the standard, they collect the standard air quality pollutants. What we're doing in the city is the same process. Our air monitors are a lot cheaper. And where they are, they're strategically placed across the city near, we did a study to see high impact areas, vulnerability areas that are next to industry, different social economic statuses, access to public land, so city land, so libraries, parks, they're usually in parks, so areas of large congregation. For us to see the air impacts of different groups. That dashboard is live on our website. I can send you a link, and I'll be happy to sit down and do a quick tutorial with you at a later
Okay.
date if you'll like.
One quick follow-up question. So are these sensors anywhere located on the highways? Because they are also a source of great pollution, all the state highways as well as the national, I mean the expressways like 75, non-tollway, George Bush, all those. Do you have any way of collecting data on them?
So we do not. We were strategic in not putting them next to highways because we'll get a lot of emissions in our sensors. We wanted to put them in the neighborhood proper. So when you walk out your house and you stand on the corner, what's the air quality there was the most important thing for our residents. So that's where they're placed, where they are.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. So I know we have to switch gears, but thank you all for your time. I will stick around at the end if anyone wants to have any additional questions. Happy to answer them.
All right. Thank
Great.
you so much.
So much. We're glad you're in the role.
Okay, and I believe what we're going to do now is sneak Dory in between our next segment in the agenda. And Dory, I don't have an intro for you. Did you, Paula, or do you want to just self-intro?
I'm
All right, Dory
I
Wolf
can.
is Solar United Neighbors. She's got some important updates for us with what they have going on. So Dory, take it away.
Thank you. And Opong, we've been helping the city of Dallas. We're one small piece of that, those eight actions that Opong just shared about. We are helping with one small piece, and you guys have been doing this group solar purchasing now for a few years. We're in our third year. It's rebranded to be called Switch Together. And it is solar group buying. It is a step. I'll just step back and say it can be overwhelming, daunting, all the things we have facing us right now. And going solar, helping others to go solar, taking that initiative, that step is just heartening. It helps me get through all that we're going through. So that's what keeps me going. I work for Solar United Neighbors. I'm their senior Texas program associate. And I've been helping not only Dallas, but Harris County, El Paso, Houston. I've been helping other municipalities throughout the state to be part of this Switch Together. So we're excited that Dallas is doing it. And I'm going to just share a little bit about what it is that's involved in this process. By going solar together, by doing this group purchasing, we get the discounts, about 20% savings. Was from last year's program, which is a great savings for folks who want to go solar. But having this partnership with it's a for-profit company, iChooser, who they vet the solar companies that help the installs. They vet the loan products. They make sure the equipment in warranty is strong and good. They take care of all of that, so you can just take a deep breath and say, if I go solar through this program, I know it's going to be not a scam. It's going to be well run and good savings. And we do Solar United Neighbors helps with third-party inspections to make sure the quality control stays strong. So those are our objectives in doing this program with the city of Dallas. And yep, I just said end. Hold on 1 minute. Let's go back up. So the program, they're very soon going to launch and select the installer. And then the campaign will officially start on April 16th, just in time for Earth Month. And when it's free to join, free to sign up. And when you do, you get a personal recommendation. And it's that there's no cost associated with it until you're ready to go a little further. And then you can decide to go solar with the contractor. We put deadlines, decision deadline of July 2nd of this year, it's a big decision to go solar. And this helps just drive that decision to say, let's do it this year. There won't be another campaign like this until next year. And then hopefully all installs will be done. I want to see installs done. The sooner you can decide to go solar, the sooner you get it installed. My hope is that we get them installed by the end of the year so that we really secure that 30% federal income tax credit. And so it starts with registration, simple, going on the website. You then get your personal recommendation, and it shows based on the information you supplied about your home, your address. It gives you, tells you what the system would cost for you. You then can control. You can say, oh, I don't want to spend that much. I want to have a smaller system, but and that you can tweak that with the installer. And then once you decide to go forward, there is a fully refundable, I think it's $150 earnest money is the way I think of it, to say to the installer, I'm serious enough to go this next step. If you decide to not go solar after that, it gets refunded to you. If you do go solar, it goes towards the cost of the system. And then again, it's a fully vetted, fully managed process, that installation. And we have wonderful help desk at Solar United Neighbors, and iChooser, the Switch Together program has a great help desk, and there's webinars to learn about Solar 101s. So help is along the way, every step of the way. And this is what your landing page looks like for Dallas. It's up, it's actually ready to you can register now. You won't get the actual personal recommendation until April 16th, but you can register now. You could send the link out to others and have them register. The more, the better, as far as meeting the goals of the climate action plan. So that was my simple, I was 5 minutes, get it in there, but I'm happy to answer questions. And again, I'm with the Solar United Neighbors, the nonprofit that's helping do this. And then Fred Wu is on vacation this week, but he is with iChooser, and we're here happy to help you all do, help this goal and take a positive step to combat climate change. And that's it.
Thank you, Dory. My question is this, you mentioned Dallas like several times. Is the city of Dallas County or the DFW area?
All right, so that's a good question. It is the city of Dallas that we have partnered with to do this campaign. That said, installers love to travel, so it's not limited, right? They give them a warm body that wants to go solar, and they're happy to go. So the registrations, they'll tell you if you register and you're too far out for this campaign, they'll let you know. But the encouragement is go ahead and register. So the whole DFW area, municipalities do not have to partner like Dallas has done to glom onto this campaign. So folks from Plano, Farmers Branch has their own, they've partnered, they'll have their own landing page, but you don't have to have your own landing page to participate.
Questions?
Dory, this is so great. I love this idea. Do you have any experience with people who live in a townhouse where there's an HOA involved? I just wondered how that's working out.
Yep, HOAs, there's a great law in Texas that says HOAs cannot say no, right? If they can ask you to change its location by, some orientation, but if it affects the output more than 10%, they can't do it. They can't say, oh, put it on the north side. No. So there's a good protection that way. Now, condos, homeowners, those kind of associations where you may not own your roof, right?
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a different challenge. And but we have, it takes champions, but we have worked with condo associations to say, what can we do to put solar on our own homes? And so it's doable. It's not as easy, and I can't speak, Opung, you may know this better, but I know that the county, Dallas County, is one of the coalition partners for the Solar for All, which is talk about justice and equity. This is a good path forward. And I believe they're working on community solar, which, and again, it'd be for income qualified people, but it would be an opportunity if you rent, if you don't own your roof, if you have too much shade, and you're income qualified, you can participate in some to be developed community solar arrays. Opang, do you know more? Am I conveying that properly?
I do know Dallas County is a partner. That's about the extent of my knowledge, but I can follow up.
I know they're doing it like Harris County, and Harris County is doing
Yes.
community solar, big arrays, which people can be members. Good.
Can you put your contact information in the chat? That way I can include it in the newsletter.
Absolutely, we'll do that.
Dory, could you tell us about the city of Dallas? Have they decided to put solar on the roofs and all those big buildings all over town?
That might be an Opang question.
Oh, well, that's true.
Short answer, yes. We are looking to include more solar in our facilities. It's like the bond project. A lot of the major construction will have a solar component, and now we're going retroactively. So libraries, recreation centers that are due for innovation and that have roofs that can support it are the ones that are being prioritized to go first. But yes, short answer.
In California, they put greenscape on top of some of the buildings instead of solar panels. I don't know what the benefit, how one compares to the other, but it's kind of enlightening if you ever go to California and you've been in some of the parts of San Francisco. There's trees and there's grass and there's flora and fauna on top of the buildings, so it's kind of cool. I guess Dallas isn't looking at anything like that. Hopefully, it's a false assumption on my part.
It is on the horizon. We're working with smart services just to see how we can mitigate a lot of different aspects. Our main focus is heat. So what services we can put on existing buildings to mitigate the heat aspect of the urban heat island.
Great. Hi, everyone. I have a quick question. Do you guys mind if I take a screenshot of all of us present here for our web page? We host a web page, and to show there that this was the presentation and this was the attendance. If you do mind, please, just like Opang did, he turned off his camera. Please go ahead and do that, because I'll take a quick screenshot of the screen right now, 12 or 13 of us in presence. So give me a quick thumbs up if you're okay with me taking a screenshot. Thank you. Because I know this is a legal matter and I hope you will not sue me later on. Thank you very much. I got it.
Thank you, Jayashree. Okay, I think Rose, you're muted. I see you're talking.
Thank you. Question, just real quick, based on what we were, the last, focus. I know, I might be wrong about the date, but I think last summer, the city had done some experiment with cooling pavement. Am I correct in that? Is there any update on that? Is that something that worked, and are we moving forward with it? Am I right about that? It's been a while, I can't remember. But the cooling service, I know.
The cool pavement?
We've been doing some work. Didn't Dallas do something along those lines?
So yes, we have done research with cool pavement in the past on a very small scale, with different departments. Now we're looking to scale that. I don't have all the information on hand, but I can definitely share it.
Okay. Thank you.
Opang, I have one more question. You talked about some measures being coming around in 2026 that are federally funded. Are we scared that that's going to be ripped away, or is it already dedicated? Is it safe?
Yeah, so if it's funding that we have on hand and then I can express publicly, we have that and that is secure and that will not go away. Like a lot of our grants are multi-year. So funds like that, we know from a federal level they'll be safe. It's just new opportunities that we are waiting for more guidance on to see. But it's early days and to see how federal funds will be allocated in the future.
Okay, I think we can move on in our agenda. We do have chapter elections. And Jayashri, I don't know if you'd like to kick us off. I really don't know if I have a lot to say about this other than we have our slate. Basically, everybody's offered to continue in their current roles. And we had one person new step forward. That would be Lisa. Thank you again, Lisa. And so the voting, basically on the suggestion of our national partner, our regional coordinator, suggested that, Jayashri, go ahead. You're muted.
The bane. Just wanted to remind those who are not formally member, and if they want to, they can drop off because now we'll be talking matters related to our chapter, elections and functioning, etc. So thank you, the presenters. We really appreciate your presentation, and you are welcome to drop off.
Or stay.
Or join our group. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Thank
And
you
then,
both so much. It was great.
and on that note, actually, let's see, Bob and Rose, are you currently receiving the chapter monthly newsletter?
I
So
am,
Rose, that's
but yes, but I was unable to access the Zoom link, so I had to email Alex. And,
okay.
so I don't know if there's something else I'm missing besides that link in the website in the newsletter.
Yeah,
So
I had the same problem. We'll fix that.
Okay.
So I'm glad you pointed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll have to plead ignorance. I get the invites, but I'm not sure if I get the chapter newsletter.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Well,
I might need
let's
to.
confirm that, and if not, you can sign up through the website, or if you want to just drop your email, I think we can double check.
Okay.
You know, Bob, it kind of just says climate reality and you're on the subject line. It's not real obvious that it's the Dallas chapter. So I don't know if you might have gotten it. You didn't realize who it was.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
Lisa
on
has
that-
a question. Sorry, Mike.
Well, it's another question. It's regarding the issue Rose had encountered today. I encountered that issue as well. If I just click the link provided in the newsletter, it didn't work. So I chose another way. I copied that link address and then open a new browser and then paste
Link.
the link, and then it worked.
Hmm.
I don't know why.
that's funny.
Yeah, we are
Well,
sorry. Everyone faced this problem. So we are planning, we assure you, we give you guarantee from next time this will not happen, and it will be tested and checked before adding the link into our newsletter. Right, Paula?
Okay.
well,
So,
you know what else, y'all? If you just go and if you have Google Calendar, it is so handy to just turn on the climate reality calendar and it'll be in your calendar as well as the newsletters. And that's reliable.
good point.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess something happened with the cutting and pasting, but it does work for me to copy it and paste it in a new
Yeah.
browser. Yeah.
Agreed.
So on our regional partners' suggestion, in the newsletter, we put out a link basically saying we're going to continue in our current roles and we have one new member. Is there any objection, since there were no opposing candidates? And I have had a couple responses, but basically nobody has objected. And
Yay.
Jayashri, I'll screenshot that and send it over to you, or to the team, basically, the executive team, so everybody can see it. But yeah, there are no objections as of today. I can't remember specifically where we noted our cutoff time, but for everybody here and anybody that might be viewing shortly, I believe it's going through this weekend. Can anybody confirm that offhand, Jayashri? Or
I believe you had said the cutoff was before the meeting today. Today, you were going to announce all the executive members who have agreed. So today, if it's no objection, please announce that these people are elected and unopposed, and we'll say yay.
That I believe is not correct, though. I think we were told to
Yeah.
extend it from this meeting 1 week forward, and I thought we had
Oh.
agreed to do it through Sunday night.
It's through
So-
March 22nd. I just checked the newsletter.
Thank you. Okay, I knew we had something like that. So, as of this point, the nominations are still open. Honestly, don't see anything changing. And on that note, if anybody else would like to speak about this election, the topic we're on right now, the floor is open for questions or comments. Okay, hearing none, I'd just like to say once again to our newer people, Bob and Rose, that there are other positions on our executive team and on the leadership team, looking for volunteers to move forward and make sure we have a strong showing for 2025, building our strategic plan and moving forward. So if we can close this out, we can jump to our next item on the agenda, which is kind of, let's see, we have any other topics to be discussed and then announcements. I think we could just group that together. And I do have something on the national level, but I will open the floor. I know Jan, in her role as events chair, would like to speak, and then anybody else as well. So announcements and additional topics. And would you like to go first? Chip's waving his hand.
No, I don't want to go. I just was wondering if we're still in the meeting or if we've moved, but we're still in the
We
meeting.
are still
Yeah,
in our
the
official
movie.
meeting, absolutely.
Yeah. And okay, so Mike, are we still talking about the positions and the roles and all that?
We can, I mean, I would thought we were moving past the elections into open.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind that making an agenda is the job of the events chair. So I was not prepared, and I'm sorry about that if you expected me to do it. And that's why the agenda was like generic, not specific. So I'm sorry if you expected me, you didn't communicate. So I'm sorry about that. So these are important because this gives a very bad impression to first-time attenders that we are not organized. So may I request all the executive members to please be very focused on what their roles are, even communicating. If somebody
Thank
could
you.
not do, please communicate to whoever can so that we don't offer a front which is disorganized. Sorry about that because I have seen better days. That's why I want to
Okay.
emphasize that.
Thank you. And on that note, we were not able to communicate very well the last couple of weeks. And I had specifically mentioned to Jan, I believe, in her role as events, that I would handle some of that. We have not passed that on to Jan yet, to my knowledge. So we can work on that. I saw your email with an agenda attached. I assumed that you were taking ownership another month. So either
Okay,
way,
so
let's
there.
move forward and move this along. So
Oh, so you're saying it's my job? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
no, I wasn't giving that to you. I was taking ownership of it still. I wasn't about to give that to you until you were,
Okay.
had another conversation, but it's not a problem.
Till after the election, right? So yeah, sure.
Okay.
And
So
in any
15
event,
minutes left, everybody, 15 minutes. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. Can I talk now?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, great. Y'all, we have two great events coming up. Earth Day. I think there's more than this, but we have signed up to have a table at Oak Cliff Earth Day and Grand Prairie Earth Day. I can put the links into the chat in a minute, but basically Sunday, March 13th is Oak Cliff Earth Day. It's super fun, really great event, great family friendly food trucks, entertainment. It is really fun. And
April 13th, not March 13th, right?
April
did I say
10th.
March? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's my son's birthday. Okay. Thank you, Chip. April
You're welcome.
13th, which is adjacent to Earth Day. That's a
I was hoping we
Sunday.
could go back before the stock markets fall, but okay. I guess no
I
DeLorean.
would have been a really bad organizer if I missed it. Anyway, it's like 12 to 5, 12 to 6, something like that. They're a little bit similar, but not quite exactly the same. So I'm drawing a blank, but basically 12 to 6, Sunday, April 13th. And then the following Saturday, April 19th is in Grand Prairie. We haven't done this event before, but I think it's a good idea to get out there and maybe spread our influence to the mid-cities. I predict this is going to be a big turnout for Earth Day events because so many people are so motivated by all the tragedy and chaos. I think we're going to be out looking for kindred spirits. And so this is a great chance to do an outreach. So I'd love to have some volunteers help out. We have me so far, plus one brand new member, Linda, who's not here tonight. But I have a spreadsheet on Google Sheets to sign up if you'd like to sign up for even 1 hour. And Jayashree was there last year. It's really fun and nice. So hopefully you can join us. And the links are in the newsletter to the spreadsheet.
Jan, can you repeat the date for
Yeah,
the
because-
Grand Prairie?
Yeah, you said April 19th.
Yes.
I think that's a Sunday.
There's two,
Saturday.
April 13th, Sunday, April 13th in Oak Cliff, Saturday, April 19th in Grand Prairie. And I'm not
Thank you.
looking at, I'm sorry, I'm doing this from memory. So I wasn't prepared at all.
That
So
was
I'm
great.
going to put in links
It's
to
okay.
the websites if you want to check out the websites for these. And it's very casual, y'all. You won't have to do anything more than hand out cards. And if people ask about our organization, tell them. You don't have to be soliciting people or, being annoying. And it's actually very friendly. And we have all the flyers and cards to hand out. So I put the links to those two events in our chat. And then just check out the newsletter for the link to the spreadsheet if you want. In fact, I'm going to put it here right now.
Thank you,
See if I
Jan.
can do
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Excellent job, Jan.
But call on people. Chip,
No, I didn't have any
You do?
comments. I didn't have any comments.
Paula, a brief update?
No, I don't have an update. I was just going to tell Jan I was just trying to sign up, and it says in the Google sheet that I have to ask for access.
Oh, you have to give us access, Jan.
Lisa, in your role, we are gonna onboard you. Okay, so I think you and I can talk
Okay.
and we can hook up with Jayashree and we can get you the official what you need to perform your duties as secretary. We can go over that soon, as soon as the election's over, actually, and add you to our executive team emails. Let's see, we have Jigs. Can I ask, would you care to do a brief report for what we got going on, and then we can do the bigger one in our meeting to come in a few minutes? You have a brief announcement for the record?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'm still having camera issues on my laptop, so sorry about that. But yeah, so brief update is we are redoing the website, cleaning it up and getting rid of stuff that's no longer relevant. So the main points of that we'll discuss later, and we're going to move it to a new hosting site, which will help us cost-wise too. So those are the main talking points, I guess.
Mike, can I quickly say about the treasure thing that you asked me? So for every member, whatever donation is put in our chapter, I don't get any information about it. I don't even see it. But every end of the month, the earlier person who was in charge for our chapter would send me the details with how much was donated, by whom, when, etc. And as a chapter treasurer, I would send out a thank you note mentioning how their donation helps our chapter, not mentioning the amount, but only theirs amount. It's a single letter, it's not a joint, to convey to them that yes, we received your donation and these are the things we use it for. So I never get any information if you or anyone donates. I only get it at the end of the month, but right now there is no one in charge. So for last several months, I'm not getting any update. Yes, Chip.
No, I was just waving goodbye to Bob. He left.
Oh, he left. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see him? Why was he not in front of the camera? I didn't get his picture.
I just assumed he was imitating Clint Eastwood at that convention. Yeah, maybe he thought the camera was pointed to him, or he just wanted us to see the chair. I don't know, but it was
Yeah, I was going to ask him, is this what is happening, that you're not in front of your camera, or you wanted us just to see the view? But anyway, sorry for that.
Okay, let's see. I guess I can go. So
Yes.
I had sent out an email, and I know we have executive meeting coming up briefly. However, one of the things was the proposal that we skip our online meeting next month in favor of doing in person at Oak Cliff Earth Day. So, is there any objection to that right now for the public record on camera that everybody can view? Okay,
That's
One
fine.
question is whether, I don't know if you saw my proposal,
yes.
we wanted to have a meeting there in addition to the attendance at Earth Day. I don't know if you want to take a little time to discuss that or not, but do you think it's worthwhile to do that? And if we can do it, do you think it might be possible to do a hybrid meeting where those present on site can also, have access to viewing the meeting and participating by Zoom the way it's sometimes done?
I would like to defer that. However, my first thought is because it's going to be more casual, outdoor, loud noises, and I would say a Zoom probably will not work for this circumstance.
Okay.
Also, if we do agree on a time, let's just say 2 o'clock, I think people will still be filtering in over the afternoon, more than likely than everybody kind of whoever is showing up converging at the same time. So I really don't know that a meeting per se is going to be appropriate. I would love to try it. On that note, Jayashri.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out. It's a very like a fair. Imagine holding a meeting with a focus in a fair where you cannot stop others from talking. There's all kinds of music going on, commotion. It's not possible, even if we tried our best to huddle somewhere. So we'll be
Exactly.
missing.
I thought
Yeah,
maybe there would be a building. That was my idea, is that we could.
no.
No,
Oh,
okay,
because,
forget it.
okay.
Bad idea
So
then.
you
There's a
need to,
pavilion, but it's an
yeah,
open park. I mean, we could
but
talk about meeting at the end of it, maybe.
yeah, at the end before dismantling, yeah, agreed.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. So otherwise, I did file our monthly chapter report for February. Answered a couple of emails, well, one from Rosalind, our regional again. She's been communicating with Jayashri and I, so we have some other business to move forward with on that note, but our chapter is in good shape, and that's all I have. Does anybody else in this announcements period have anything to do before we move towards Jeffrey?
And because although I'm not officially treasurer, but I'm still a treasurer. So here is a request to all the members. It's not like I really appreciate what Jan has done for the chapter. A small amount, but she has done it, set it up so that it comes in every month. That's really appreciated. I mean, I'm on behalf of the chapter, because then we aggregate that money. So I request, if not that way, just some amount. Like imagine you're not taking one coffee at Starbucks and donate that, because we do need this at the moment. Earlier we had more member and we had more outreach and more people did donate. But because we are again kind of regrouping, we need that help from members before we can reach out to others. So thank you for that.
And what I've typically done is given the check to the national and just said, please allocate to the DFW chapter. Is that still the best way to go?
So again, Chip, which I had done, which had happened before, there is when you go to, there are two sites. One is dedicated to DFW, which Paula includes in every newsletter. And the main one is goes to the Climate Reality National. So even if you write there for DFW, it doesn't come to us because you have sent it to the main.
Okay, that has changed since I last, I didn't know that. So I will make a specific donation
Thank you, thank you.
through it's Yeah, it's on their national website, but for our chapter, right?
Yeah, for our
I'll-
chapter is on our website.
Our
And
I'll find that. And if you
and-
have the link, please send it. I'll definitely make another.
yeah, Paula
So-
includes that in the newsletter every time. Thank you, Paula, for doing that.
Okay.
And Chip, I donated yesterday, and when you go on our website, it's clear that it's already marked towards our chapter.
Yeah. And
Oh.
I will, sorry about that. I will contact the national, at chapters and find out what is our standing now. Okay, Mike, and I'll let you know once they inform me.
Well, we're in good standing again, but right, we've confirmed that.
At
But
the moment,
I heard
yeah.
something different just now from Mike. Mike, you said our website locally, and I heard
Our
from
chapter website,
what?
our DFW chapter website.
Yeah, and I thought I heard from Jay Ashby that it's the national website that now has a new page for our chapter. I just want to clarify which is.
No, I'm sorry if I explained. It's all for us. That's why we host a chapter website, so that anything pertaining to our chapter is on our website, not
Okay,
on national.
I'll go through that then. Sorry about that. Thank you for explaining. I'm gonna have to get my plug because my computer's about to die. I'll be right back.
Hey, can I
we'll
ask
give
one
you-
more question? Were we going to talk about trying to change the date and time, or the time of day, or
Yes.
the?
Yes, and we can do that in executive session.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that was also part of, we had all agreed on this at the beginning of the year on that. Like, let's change this up because Wednesday night, third Wednesday is not working necessarily. So part of the thing we had also talked about was doing it in person. So that it will be April now, and then we can discuss moving forward how we want to change this. Maybe it'll be a Saturday or Sunday, who knows, but we can take a poll. But yes, definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. And Chip is going to plug in. I think he can still hear us. So Jeffrey, you are up, I believe, for the closing.
Okay, thank you. Why don't we all take a deep, deep breath? Breathe in and exhale. And wiggle your toes. Feel your feet. Okay, it always helps me get out of my head. I don't know about all of you, but I've taken steps to reduce the fire hose of information that comes every day about what's going on. I do keep getting climate related news. And it's been, frankly, pretty depressing. The big settlement against Greenpeace, for example, for the the turning of the Environmental Protection Agency into the Oil and Gas Industry Protection Agency, and doing away with clean air, clean water, etc. But I've been part of a group that addresses, does somatic therapy for dealing with collective trauma. And what we're experiencing here is collective trauma. And there's a practice, and I don't have the ability to put this up here, but this is something that I do daily. After getting grounded, getting centered, taking a deep breath, I say these following words aloud, and I will share these later. And as I say them, you can say them to yourselves. Listen closely to your own voice and pay attention as it resonates through your body. One of the things that I've realized is that our current situation puts all of us into a position of maybe understanding a little bit what people, indigenous peoples in America have been feeling all along. That people who are not white male bodies have been feeling all along. And so this comes from out of that kind of awareness, and an awareness of just what's going on right now in terms of our country. So these are the words that I repeat to myself. I am not done. This is not over. I will defend myself, the people I love, my community, and my dream of a just, emancipated American democracy. I will work to create a living, embodied, anti-racist culture. I will often pause to settle my body, to discern, to process pain, and to metabolize trauma. But I will not quit these efforts. I will also discern the difference between pausing and quitting. I will not sink back into the status quo of white male-bodied supremacy. And if you have a white body, and add this, I will not rest on my white body advantage, but will let go of it. And as I do this, I pay close attention to my body and note any vibrations, images, thoughts, meanings, urges, behaviors, emotions, sensations. And I go to my journal and I write them down. So this is a body practice that, especially just to start at the beginning, I am not done. This is not over. I will share all of this when I can get to a computer that'll allow me to do it. Or I'll send it to Paula to put into our newsletter if that's appropriate. Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Did you write that, Jeffrey?
No, that comes from the work of Resmaa Menakem, from a book called The Quaking of America, an embodied guide to navigating our nation's upheaval and racial reckoning. He's a somatic therapist.
Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, could you put the book's name in the chat, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I can do
tried
that.
Thank you.